Hey boys and girls, so we are getting started with our math bell ringer for week 9. And our first problem says parentheses 4 times 3 times parentheses 6 plus 5. So we have two sets. We'll go ahead and start with the left. 4 times 3 is 12. Then we have times 6 plus 5 is 11. 12 times 11 equals 132. If you didn't know that, you could work it out up here. Now we have 9. Remember, whenever you have a number right beside parentheses, this just means times, then divided by parentheses 1 plus 2. So you have to do this first. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And then we just have 9 times 7 divided by 3. So we just do these from left to right. So we have 9 times 7 gives us 63. Then divided by 3 gives us, I'll write this down, 63 divided by 3. So we could write it like this. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Bring down our 3. 1. So our answer is 21. Now we'll come over here, write this number in standard form. 400 plus 30, these are our whole numbers, is 430. Over here we have our decimals, 6/10 and 8/100. Then we'll come over here, 2/3 plus 3/4. So we have to have a common denominator, and our common denominator is going to be 12. Remember, you can always just multiply these together to get those, or you could list out all the multiples of 3 and 4. That would look like this: 3, 6, 9, 12. And you could keep going if you wanted to. 4, 8, 12, 16, and keep going. But we see that 12 is a common denominator. All right, so what would I multiply 3 by to get 12? And that's 4. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 times 4 is 8. So what do I have to do to 4 to turn into 12? And that's multiplied by 3. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So now I have 8 plus 9 gives me 17 over 12. So to turn that into a proper fraction, that means my numerator is smaller than my denominator. I'm going to keep my denominator the same, and I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 12 go into 17? And that's 1 time. 17 divided by 12 is 1, and I would have a remainder of 5. So 1 5/12. How many 1/4 cup servings of almonds are in 3 cups of almonds? So I could draw this out, 1, 2, 3, and split it into fourths and count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or I could just look at my denominator and multiply it by the 3 cups. 4 times 3 is 12. Our next problem says write an expression for this statement. Double 6, then add 15. So to double 6 first, we're going to take 6 and multiply it by 2. I'm going to go ahead and put it in parentheses. You don't have to. And then we're going to add 15. But to make sure that we did this first, we'll put it in parentheses. Next, we're going to round each number to the nearest hundredth. So my 4 is in the hundredth spot. That's 2 numbers after my decimal point. And I'm going to look to the right. Is this 5 or more? Yes. That means this number is going to be bumped up 1 more. So that's going to be 31 5/100. Over here, the number 5 is in the hundredth spot. I'm going to look to the right. Is a 1 a 5 or more? No, it's not. So that means our 5 is going to stay the same. 7 25/100. All right, over here, a cake recipe calls for 3/4 cups of sugar, while the frosting requires 2/3 cups of sugar. How much total sugar is needed? Well, sometimes we have a hard time understanding if we have to add or subtract, multiply or divide. Well, when it says total, usually that kind of signals our brain to add. So we're going to take our 3/4 and our 2/3 and we're going to add them together. So 3/4 plus 2/3, and guess what, boys and girls? We did that up here. So we already know the answer is 1 5/12 cups of sugar. All right, now we have 160 centimeters equals how many millimeters? Well, these are only one stair step away from each other, so we get to just place one more 0. So it's one place value away, 1 power of 10 away, I should say. So now we have 3 meters equals how many millimeters? Well, a milli is worth 1,000. I can't wait to teach you guys more about this instead of just having it in our bell ringers. All right, now we have our function tables, which you guys are so good at. So our first pattern is to divide by 2. So I have an x of 10, and I'm going to divide by 2, and I'm going to get 5. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm going to switch pen colors here. Now we have divided by 1. So 9, 7, 2, and 1. So over here is where we just put them together and we make an ordered pair. 10 and 5, 8 and 4, 6 and 3, 4 and 2, 9 and 9, 7 and 7, 2 and 2, 1 and 1. So I have some students who like to put the numbers down here on the x-axis, and remember when you do that, you have to put it right here where they create a perpendicular angle. It makes it a little bit easier when you are graphing them. And then same thing over here. You don't put them in the middle of that space. Okay, so always when you're graphing, you start at the origin, and then your first number tells you how many you go over, and your second number tells you how many you go up. So I'm going over 10 and up 5. So over 10, up 5, and I place my first point. Then 8, 4. Over 8, up 4. Then 6, 3. Over 6, up 3. So far I can see they're creating a line. Over 4, up 2. So I'm going to go ahead and connect them and label my line. And this line is just going to be labeled divided by 2, because that's what our function is. Now I'm going to have 9, 9, 7, 7, 2, 2, and 1, 1. And I would know something was wrong if my points did not line up in a line, because they are supposed to, because they are in this function table, meaning they have the same slope.